Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What's popping, guys? Welcome to ZeerTalks and welcome to the 14th episode of Weekly Promo Class. We're here again, addressing the events of Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, etc. Heading into Saturday night's main event and Evolution. But guys, you know what to do. Subscribe. Press alarm bells for future content notifications. Like, comment your way. Go check socials, and inshallah, you're well wherever you may be. And just to piss off the guy in the backstage. Yeah. Anyway, there you are. Now, the guy who's probably pissed off at me, Jester, what's good? Why can't I add it, bro?
Yeah. That's all I know how to do. Yeah. God, I can't believe he closed the fucking episode of Raw, man.
Dubs,
what?
Man.
He's not even on Raw, bro. Like, that's going to be my first complaint. Like, what are you doing, mate? You don't have a world title. You just can't walk from show to show just because you say yeah.
No, jokes aside, I do agree with that. Jokes aside.
Bloody hell, man.
Oh, yeah. At least give a reason, you get me.
They're doing something with him, though. He's getting a lot of promo time. He's had a lot of promos between SmackDown and Raw and a lot of microphone time.
Yeah, especially backstage, I think. Especially, I think was it not this Raw, the Raw before when he attacked Seth and then he was backstage. Then Punk said, "Nah, he's mine. Seth is mine." At that,
I remember he's like cut a few pieces, cut a promo basically. He's been all right, but yeah, it has been pretty bland, bro. Overall, I went back and watched it last night. I had Spaghetti trolling me in the chat, fucking when you seen talking about Goldberg coming in saying Gunther's gonna die and shit. That triggered me. I can't believe it's happening. But yeah, it was a quiet, well, not a quiet few, but just a couple average episodes. The new Bloodline stuff is definitely a bit like hit and miss already.
Yeah, it's too soon for me.
Yeah. So I don't know where we're going to start today, mate. What are you starting with? What do you want to start with?
So you know what? On my title here, I put Drew McIntyre has returned.
Big ups, Drew. And straight into it, mate. Straight into the.
I think we talk about Drew first. Oh, I mean, up to you. Yeah, I think.
Go for it.
Now, the
Give
reason
his
why I
thoughts.
want to start with Drew McIntyre is because obviously last time we saw him he was gone.
It was the pay-per-view match, right?
That's no Saturday night main event steel cage match, the one
Yeah,
that
him.
I
Yeah.
found underwhelming as fuck.
Yeah.
Now he's back. He's throwing shades at Cody and Randy, teasing a little heel turn somewhere between the two. You get me?
Yeah.
And he's facing Randy Orton after Orton RKO'd him because Drew wanted the match with Orton, because obviously Drew pressed Orton's buttons in that. I wanted to gather your thoughts on what you think is next for Drew and what you think is best for him as well.
Oh man.
Well, he
What's
got
next?
a lot of pop, by the way, while he was gone.
Yeah, no, of course. What's next for him? I have no idea. I feel like they haven't known what to do with him since Punk came back. Like, since, as much as Drew was a part of that, like, I genuinely feel like, it goes back to the Mania. Like, Punk screwing over Drew, getting cashed in on. I genuinely think that they've kept Drew in the world title picture because he's Drew and he's a threat, but they haven't had any need or desire or want at all to get serious with him. Like, he just seems to be getting fed feeder feuds, like a feud that will do good enough business to keep him on TV doing good work. But I genuinely don't think they have any intentions of actually inserting him into the world title scene. He just seems to be floating on the outside of it all the time now. He's over as shit. His work has been probably the best he's ever done. He's been a yes man for as much as his like Twitter persona and all that is like, he cooks and shit. He's been a yes man because like he's lost every feud, bro. Like, he's lost every feud, since he won the world championship, basically. He got turned into a literal joke, but he's still like this bona fide badass. So I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'm glad he's back. I mean, he really only had to break, I think, because of how hard he'd been working. Like, it wasn't like he needed to heal up or anything either. They just gave him a break. I'm glad he's back. I would love to see him be the catalyst for an Orton or a Cody heel turn. But then where does that position him once they go heel? Like, is he involved?
Problem, yeah.
Are they, I don't want no team shit. We don't need, Drew doesn't need anything like that. And he also doesn't need to be a killer cross, in your ear type thing either. He says shit the way it is, but I mean, Randy says shit the way it is too, basically. Yeah, I genuinely don't think they have really any idea, bro. I think they just had him back and ready to go, and to keep him happy and to keep him in the position that he should be in, they just kind of thrust him into that promo segment straight away with, the other chosen ones like himself.
Yeah.
I genuinely, though, they're not really doing anything with him. That they haven't for a little while. He's been the butt of Seth's jokes and Punk's jokes and everything else. Even the Damien feud, like that went on for as long as it did, and that all went back to the Royal Rumble. So
yeah, that was one of the weird ones.
Because it's Drew. Even him and Damien, that was a good position for both of them to be in, but it was a nothing feud. They should both be going on to bigger things.
He should have faced he should have faced Roman at Mania, in my opinion.
Even that, bro. Like, that's kind of been buried now.
Remember when he lost his shit at the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, he lost it with all of them. And he said, like I said, all these reasons have been legit. But he's lost nearly every feud since. But yeah, it's true. They'll do something with him, hopefully. But you can't guarantee.
To be fair.
But yeah, you can't guarantee what's going to happen, bro. That's all. And with him his booking in general. Like it's hard to even when he became champion, like it was such a rough period for him, for wrestling and for the world. He's never gotten back to that position. And then when he did, it was like the butt of the jokes for CM Punk. And then even that, like even Seth's world championship loss there, like, and kind of the storyline that he's had in the last year, like his storyline and everything since then makes sense for him to be where he is now. Like you look at where Drew is, and Drew won that match. And it's like he's nowhere. You know what I mean? Like he's in purgatory. He's in limbo. But he's still there, and he's still a huge star no matter what he does.
But I think at the time they were trying to tell the fact that Punk was basically saying that as long as I'm breathing, you ain't winning a championship. I think that was the whole point at the time.
Which is just stupid though, because it was like that's what Seth was doing with Punk, and that's what so many people are doing with so many people. But Drew, I don't know. I just think like Drew, he was positioned as a big monster, like leading into that, and you know, an end of days type guy, and then just coming out of that now, I genuinely think he has been a bit of a joke. Like not him. I think his work's still been amazing, especially everything he'd done with Punk. But I just think that his character work, like his character, has been treated a bit as it's like he's not a threat anymore. You know, no one's scared of him anymore. So yeah, I don't know. I think we need to return to the Scottish psychopath, where he just flips out, starts fucking beating up Adam Pearce till he gets what he wants.
Yeah, we got Omar, man.
Omar.
Sup?
Big ups,
How
man.
y'all doing?
But yeah, that's about. I genuinely like. I feel like it's been a year or so. It has been nearly a year or so of just not really knowing what to do with him. He's over his shit. True.
Drew McIntyre, because
he just asked me what I think he's next for Drew, you know, based on the way he returned and shit. And I said, I honestly don't know. I can't see him being the catalyst for either Cody or Randy going heel, because that'll, I think, like on both their cases, that can happen on its own without him being involved. And heaps of other people, when they've done promos with them too, they've alluded to that for a little while. Especially Cody and Randy with each other. You know, Randy saying how he would do anything, and then how in the match it was Cody who did anything. You know, Randy was the one who resisted. I just don't think Drew fits into that narrative. And then outside of that, I don't know where he fits at all. Like he should be like even the bloody this Goldberg shit, man. Like it fucking should be. It should be like Drew in that position or something. You know what I mean? Like Drew just going straight to Gunther. Because imagine that, like Drew and Gunther, boom. Like fuck,
guys.
Boom.
You know what? I'm just. Are you still going? Because I don't want to interrupt.
No. I genuinely it was just like going in circles, saying I don't think they know.
Yeah, he's just saying the same shit again and again.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. I'll tell you my opinions on the Drew thing. I agree with everything you just said. At the end of the day, this is like they genuinely dropped the ball. Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I really do get why Drew is frustrated. I really do. Because if I've been carrying the company for the past few years, right, when everyone has been injured, coming back, all of this stuff, and I've been carrying the company, I had the best rivalry with CM Punk the whole of last year, right? That whole momentum going my way. And then you bring me to SmackDown and you beginning, and then you just it's like they didn't just know what to do with him, like you mentioned, Jester. And the funny thing
I think even when they did the trade, you know, even when they were like, hey, let's just put him on SmackDown.
Oh yeah, no, the thing is when they traded, I remember
it was a pointless trade because if you that's what I'm saying, right? If you look at the trade now, right, looking at back now, it makes zero sense because at SmackDown he's been wasted. At Raw, he could have been in the world title scene with Jey Uso. Because remember, they could have continued that little rivalry he had at the start of the year with Jey Uso, right? For him to kind of have that momentum. I'm sorry, I don't think Gunther should have beaten Drew for Jey for the title. I would have had no problem if Drew. I'm sorry, I would have had no problem if Jey lost the title to Drew. You feel me, right?
Yeah.
Because remember,
No,
because
they've
remember,
wasted.
Oh,
They've
I
wasted
just
both.
remembered why they moved him to SmackDown. I just remembered. It was
Wasn't it a
because
swap?
no, because remember after that, you remember the Hell in a Cell match he had with Punk. That was like the last match they had. I think Adam Pearce had like a stipulation: one more match, no more afterwards. And obviously, it wouldn't have made sense if they were in the same brand.
no. Okay.
I remember at the time we talked about this, Omar. I remember.
Here's the thing.
Wait,
We've
listen
seen-
to me. You can't cut me off. Let me finish. Let me finish 1 second. Lights. Let me finish. I remember specifically at the time. There was a point in time after that Hell in a Cell match. A lot of the people said it would have not made sense that Punk and Drew was in the same brand. So I remember then he had to go SmackDown. The thing is, though, the way that it has transpired, though, it would have been better off if Punk was the one that moved away from Raw rather than Drew.
Zir, let me explain it.
How you can speak.
Let me explain this, right? Okay, man. We've seen, because Justin, you've been watching a lot of wrestling just like me, right? We've seen rivalries which have been so personal on like kayfabe wise, right? Where these guys could every time they were like it was on site, right? Right. I used to remember. Remember Shawn Michaels and Triple H, their rivalry.
Yeah.
That was on site rivalry. Like those guys, every time they saw each other, it was on site, and that went on for 3 years. But here's the thing, right? They never moved either guy from Raw to SmackDown. They left them on the same show. You know what they did, right? They acknowledged the rivalry. However, they didn't always make it a thing of always crossing paths with each other, right? They could have done this thing with Drew where, yes, Drew and Punk don't like each other. Yes, they're on Raw. But this is the thing. If you put Drew in a rivalry with Damian Priest, right? That's him basically getting distracted away from the CM Punk thing, right? So CM Punk can focus on the Roman Reigns thing while Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest do their thing at WrestleMania. Now, after WrestleMania, right? CM Punk is doing his thing with Seth Rollins and later on with John Cena. They could have used that same time with Drew to make him focus on the world champion, the new world champion, Jey Uso, right? That way, that's what I'm saying. That way, you know these two are in the same place, but they've kind of moved on from each other. But you just know that the next time they see each other, they're not gonna see each other eye to eye. So my point is this, right? At the end of the day, right? Yes, I'm not saying forgive and forget and pretend like the other one doesn't exist. That doesn't usually happen in wrestling, right? However, when there's an intense rivalry and then they have that one last match, that's usually it. You understand what I mean, right? That's usually it. Now, that doesn't mean that those two forget about each other, but they don't acknowledge each other anymore, right? They try to focus on other things. Do you understand what I mean, right? So with the Drew McIntyre thing, after the whole thing with CM Punk, remember when he went to Scotland, when he said he went to Scotland, he had to find himself, they could have used that momentum. They could have said, all right, well, listen, he's focusing on Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. Okay, he failed. He lost his match at the Elimination Chamber. He got eliminated by Damian Priest. He could have used that Damian Priest thing to say, you cost me my a chance to go to WrestleMania to go for the championship again. Do that whole thing at WrestleMania, right? While CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns do their thing at WrestleMania, right? And they can both be on Raw. They don't have to be around each other. Drew is focusing on Damian. Punk is focusing on Seth and Roman, right? And then after that whole thing at WrestleMania, you can then decide if you want. And this is where if they wanted to continue Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre match, one more match or two more matches, that's fine. You understand what I mean? Because you remember they did the Logan Paul and Jey Uso thing, right? So while they were doing the Jey Uso Logan Paul thing, right? Drew McIntyre could have been finishing his rivalry with Damian Priest. I think what should have happened was, okay, at Backlash, make Damian Priest win the match. That way, then last match at Saturday Night Main Event, give that win to Drew McIntyre so that he can have the momentum after Saturday Night Main Event to go and challenge Jey Uso for the title. You understand what I mean, right? And that what do I call it? The momentum he would get from that, he can go and then win the championship. Because remember, Jey Uso has a win against Drew. You understand what I mean, right? So Drew can use that motivation. Be like, the last time you and I faced each other, you eliminate you beat me. This time around, I'm gonna take that championship away from you, and that way, right? You can make Drew McIntyre happy, right? Because Drew McIntyre is now the world champion, right? Given think about it this way, Jester, right? Think about it this way, here. What was the point in making Gunther lose the championship only to give him the title back 3 months later? right? And
Just
during
to
that
put it
time,
on Jay, because they made Jay win the Rumble.
they made Joe win the Rumble. He wins the match. That's the thing, right? You've given him his moment. He's the world champion. I'm
Yeah,
not saying
yeah.
he should hold on. I'm not saying he should hold on to the
I
championship.
think that's
for
why they
months.
did it though. If they didn't pull the trigger, I think they felt they would have given in to the wrestling community, to the toxic side of the international wrestling community, if they didn't pull the trigger.
Jester, you know
By
what
the way,
I think?
and at the
You know
time,
what?
I
You know what?
remember
You know what I
we
think,
agreed
Jester?
on that, Jester. I remember.
You know what I think, Jester? I think they realized that the Jey Uso experimented and worked, and they were trying to take the title off him. And they looked at who's in the locker room that they could give it to, and then maybe they had plans for
Yeah,
Seth
there was
Rollins
no one
later
really.
on, right?
Yeah, there's
In the
nobody
Monday
other
Night
than
Raw,
Rollins
and that
nowadays.
is where I said they're completely fucked up, because if they had left Drew McIntyre on Raw, that would have been the most
Yeah,
obvious
he would
one
have
to
been
give the
perfect
title
fit.
to. Because here's the thing, right? If they wanted to take the championship like that quickly from Jay, that's not the issue here, right? Whether Jey Uso's reign was good or not, that's for debate, for another debate. But if you're gonna take the title off him, it doesn't make any sense to give it to the guy who he just choked out of WrestleMania and
And a few months later.
That is stupid. Give it to another guy who's been in the company, who hasn't had his moment, who should be given his moment, right? Because Drew won the championship at WrestleMania last year, but he lost it that same night. Giving him this opportunity to win the championship and actually hold on to the title, it would finally be a reward to him.
Yeah.
It's sad, man. I swear they
I
really
hear it.
forward.
That's what I was. That's kind of what I. That's how I kind of started it too. That I was saying that I think since that Mania, since that moment, even going into that moment, the booking of that moment, that they haven't known what to do with Drew since Punk came on board. Like that, the whole, and as much as it was the best feud of last year, Drew outside of that, like after the Punk feud, it's been very, very hard for him to build anything and to be in and he's
But
and
I
he's
blame the
why I'm
company
saying
for
like,
that, Justin.
yeah, 100%. But that's why I'm even saying like
that.
his first promo back and he's like straight into it with Cody and Randy. It's like he hasn't, you know what I mean? Like he's still clearly right there at top billing, but they just won't pull the trigger. Or when they did pull the trigger, they treated it like a joke with the CM Punk, which at the moment was shocking. But like Punk beat him in that feud too, so like
it doesn't matter. See, that's the thing, isn't it, Jester? Right? We've seen rivalries like this go for months and months and months. And we're like, okay, we need to kill this rivalry at some point, right?
Yeah.
We killed the rivalry. That's what pisses me off, right? The Hell in a Cell match was the perfect way to end the rivalry.
Yeah, it was a good match.
They could have easily just said, hey, listen, man, these two still don't like each other. They don't want to be around each other. Fine. Like, you can do this thing where you're like, okay, well, listen, Drew is clearly pissed that he lost to CM Punk, right? But now he's focusing on other things. He's focusing on the World Championship. You see how they tried to do with the Jey Uso, the Damian Priest? I liked what they did with that. They should have kept that, Jester. They should have kept that, but keep both of them on Raw and maybe trade Damian Priest to SmackDown after the WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, I think, but as you just said though, too, like Punk wants to go for the title, Drew wants to go for the title. If the title's not on either of them, they're going to be in each other's orbit.
I mean, but you look at but now we've seen it with CM Punk challenging John Cena for the WWE World Championship, right? We've seen him challenge for that title, right? And we've just seen.
Yeah, but they only did Cena
and also, Punk is a Raw superstar challenging a John Cena who is a SmackDown, technically a SmackDown superstar, right? For the championship.
Yeah, well, the world championship is Raw.
The world championship is SmackDown, yes.
And you've got Gunther versus Jay, which are both two Raw superstars. So this is why I said, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they could have still done the Punk Cena thing, and still, if Drew was on Raw, do Drew and Jay. That's what I'm saying. Drew and Jay. Drew was the perfect guy to take the title of Jay. Literally the perfect guy. Giving it back to Gunther made zero sense. Like I said, bro, you just wasted our time. What was the point of even taking the title off?
It's like you're going back to square one, really.
If you want to do the thing with Goldberg, why the fuck do we have to add the title in it?
Yeah, that kills me. 100% that kills me. That's the biggest thing.
Well.
The title shouldn't be like. That's what I was raging. That's what I was raging at Spaghetti about. Like, I was like, the title shouldn't be anywhere. They can do the match. They can do the feud, whatever.
Yeah, it can be without the title.
Just it being that title too, because it was Goldberg's title. Like, it's just. Makes you work,
I
but it's
swear
just
to God, if they take
they
that
have
title, give it to go.
they have
If they take that title,
destroyed.
No. Gunther's gonna
They have
be. Gunther's
destroyed
gonna win. It
Gunther's
doesn't make
aura,
sense because
bro.
Goldberg
Like
is leaving. This is a retirement match. So it's not.
they better and look, this is what we've been told. The thing is, back in the day, and wrestlers of his thing just were meant to go out on your back, right? Like even the Kurt Angle thing, you were meant to go out on your back. You were meant to do something for someone younger than you. You were meant to help put over a new star if you were truly done, right? Like back in the old days, in the old territories, at least in the system that Goldberg was brought up through, right? Like because he was WCW and it was all old timers and they were running their own booking. So they weren't necessarily doing all that. Now, in wrestling and the last few years, that narrative has changed basically since the Kurt Angle thing, even the Ric Flair thing. Ric Flair went out on his back. Kurt Angle went out on his back. Sting in AEW recently, who is arguably the biggest WCW name of all time, but he went out as a champion, right? Now Goldberg, being fucking Goldberg, Bill Goldberg, I can just see his ego and his booking and his history still being a part of this. It's his old title. He doesn't like to have long matches. Bro, I'm terrified. I'm fucking terrified, bro. I'm terrified.
I know where you're going with this, and it's a scary concept because you know
it's not.
Where he's going with this is basically it's Gold. I think Goldberg held that title back at WCW, didn't he?
No,
it's the title, bro. Like Goldberg.
Yeah. So yeah, he's saying like in his last match he wins that same title he won back in the. I get it, bro.
Listen,
and I've just got a feeling because Sting did the same thing fucking recently. Goldberg's going to use that as leverage and be like, hey, I was a bigger name than him, and AEW allowed him to go out as champion.
Can I say this?
WWE, that's AEW, in all due respect.
Yeah, I know, but it's Sting.
Just with all due respect also to Sting, one thing I'll give Sting is this. Sting, even at his age, was still
could still go. Could still go. 100%. I know.
And
Goldberg can't.
People over. Don't get it twisted. He was putting people over.
I know, man. I know.
During his time. So giving him his last W,
I know.
I had no problem.
That's why I'm saying, like, I just bring up the Sting thing.
Yeah,
because of WCW.
That's another good one, right? Because the Undertaker one, he lost to Roman Reigns, he lost the streak to Brock Lesnar. So he was losing matches before that last match against AJ. The problem with Goldberg is, you just mentioned it, Goldberg barely wrestles, and whenever he does, he always
and he nearly killed. That's what I mean. And like, how long ago was the Taker match? That was like 4 years ago.
2018, I think. 2019.
So like it was that long ago, and what have we had in
2019 and oh my, that was awesome.
Crown Jewel?
No, it was Super. It was the Super Show.
A Super Show, okay.
And that was one of the
since then was what the Dolph Ziggler match was one of them.
Yes,
I remember he came back and killed
SummerSlam, and then Bray Wyatt or the Fiend.
Bray Wyatt, okay, okay. So since he nearly killed the Undertaker, they've given him squash matches against two up and coming huge stars. Yeah. And he ate both of them.
Hated that. The Fiend one, let me tell you something, yes, sir. Wallahi, bro. That Fiend one was the one that I'm telling you right now.
No, he had all the momentum in the world.
You did not want to see me when he beat the Fiend, bro.
Yeah,
when he beat the Fiend. I genuinely, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think I might have broken something in my house like that.
Such a dog shit title too,
like
Universal title.
Genuinely, bro. They had the Fiend as this invincible, unbeatable, unstoppable, and then fucking
Goldberg, I know. But that's why I'm so worried about this Gunther shit too, bro. Like Gunther's aura is gone. It's gone. It's gone since Jay, and then even you and I agree. Like he shouldn't have lost the title in the first place, really. But the whole putting it straight back on him just to have it involved in this feud, I'm scratching my head too. I'm like, why? But it's just like everything about this feud feels like it's putting the ball in Goldberg's court, man. And everything about Gunther's booking over the last fucking 6 months and everything about Goldberg's booking forever. is just terrifying me. Like that, history says, and the bookies say, and what we're told is that this is the retirement match, and it's taken him fucking 3 years to get to this point. Like it's happening way too late.
Bro, this guy
Yeah.
is really retired.
It's Goldberg, man. Like he's like he learned from the fucking school of Hogan, bro. He books himself. Like he's a mark for himself. Like he's the
No, for
biggest
real, he
mark
is.
for himself.
Like you know, Jester,
So I'm terrified. I'm terrified, and I hate.
get your concern. Yeah,
I hate what they've done to Gunther. I hate what they've done to Gunther, and I can agree with Omar's frustrations about why he even put the title straight back on him. My thing is, why put it on him? Because they're just trying to involve it in the match. They wasted the J thing. It was just why take it off of him straight up? He should have held it.
Let me ask you this, right? So you've said something that I agree with the Gunther thing, right? His momentum kind of died after that whole thing with Jay at WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, it's been dying.
If they really wanted to really build back Gunther's momentum and maybe eventually put the title on him in the future, right? This is the point I used about Drew. If they wanted to do the Goldberg thing, right? Let's say Drew was the one who faced Jay and beat Jay for the title, right? They could have done this thing where they could have let Jay follow the world championship, right? He'll go after his world champion trying to get it back. Meanwhile, Gunther, and if this is why Goldberg is back, they could have done this thing where Goldberg came back, right, and faced Gunther in a match where no titles are involved. And you know what? Some people, maybe not everyone, but some people might be like, you know what? This will actually be cool because there's no title involved, right? So we're like, all right, let's actually see what happens. And we can just see what's his name. Gunther fucking squash this prick, right? Completely just squash him, right? And that would actually bring momentum back to Gunther a little bit. That way Gunther, think about it, that way Gunther could then go and challenge Drew for the world championship at SummerSlam.
100%. And also like just being, look, if Goldberg's what he is and the age he is and from the school that he is, the old school way of going out on your back, being this, it's almost like when Brock came back and destroyed Cena. If you are this unstoppable monster and you get put to sleep and to end your career, like it and Goldberg's always been accused of never putting any.
Oh yeah, we know that. You know that about Jay.
So this would be like the, you know, if Goldberg, like, this is the thing, if he loses this match, the amount of goodwill that he will have with the wrestling community,
if he gets squashed. How about if he gets?
Yeah, that's what I mean. But it's Goldberg. He cannot. He cannot. His head is just.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, and they've got to be stressing that to him. But his ego is just so big, man. Like,
Jester, I know. I'm saying it would be great, but I am not stupid. I know that flipping see Goldberg, right? I've never seen a guy who believes in his own hype like Goldberg does. Like Goldberg believes his own bullshit. This guy is one of the worst wrestlers in wrestling history. But he genuinely thinks he's the shit. Why? Because he keeps squashing people. Bro, people don't care about you, bro. Like you are that, like you're an awful, like you've never had a good 5-minute match.
I compared it. I brought up the other 5 moves of doom people and said that Goldberg didn't even have 5 moves.
He had two moves.
He had two. He had like 3. But I brought up Ultimate Warrior, who was like 3 moves. I brought up Hulk Hogan, and I brought up John Cena. And I was like, if Goldberg's getting compared to any of them, it's Ultimate Warrior. Because dude was a mark for himself. He was roided up, and he could do like 3 moves, right? Whereas Hogan back in the day, regardless of Hogan and his politics, Hogan could work back in the day. Hogan knew how to sell. Hogan knew how to tell a story, etc. Right? And then the other one in fucking John Cena took him 10 years to get there, but he became.
Also, this is the bad part about John Cena.
The fact you mentioned Cena's crazy because over the years he actually chose to change.
He's had an incredible arsenal. He has, but his matches consisted, when he was at his prime, his matches consisted of the same 5 moves.
No, exactly. That's what I mean. The US title thing.
Hold on, Zer, before I will let you have your say, but I just want to add just what Jester just mentioned, right? You see those wrestlers you just mentioned. You're right. A lot of those wrestlers, right? They were simple. They couldn't wrestle. They only had a few moves.
Warrior. That'd be the one.
That's what I'm saying. And there, for some reason, all of these guys just had the most giant ego in the entire wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Because they were some of the worst wrestlers, but they genuinely believed that they were some of the best because of the way they were being pushed. I feel like Cena was like the exception. Because here's what I liked about Cena. You're right. For a lot of years, people hated Cena, right? But Cena was just a guy who was doing his job. What they like,
he was put in that position. He was put in that position.
Yeah, he was doing what he was asked to do.
And one thing I love about Cena is that at some point in Cena's career, he understood, okay, I've made it. I don't need to be winning world championship anymore to remain relevant. He started going, when he won the United States Championship from Rusev, that thing he did with the United States Championship,
the challenge was sick.
I will forever respect that because, dude, he had, like, what he was doing, like, all these new wrestlers from NXT, like Sami Zayn.
It was the best run of his career.
Bro, that was the best run. I swear, I've said it before, right? John Cena's, most of his best run, that United States Championship run was one of the best runs of John Cena's career, bro. Because you know what and also what I like about Cena is this, right? You see Cena, after he became a part-time wrestler, one thing I would forever respect about this man, because he was a part-time wrestler, until like this year, he put over everyone they put on his way.
Outside of business too,
Everybody. From Solo to Roman to...
I mean, that record's probably never going to go broken now too. Like, his losing streak is probably never going to get broken. Like,
what's his name? What's the name of the guy? Austin Theory. Bro, he even
oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Look, guys, I'm telling you, this is why John Cena for me would forever be the God. And this is why John Cena.
Yeah, look, that's why because I brought him up yesterday because someone was just going on about how great Goldberg is, and even I said that I brought up them three: Warrior, Hogan, and Cena, and in that order, I was like, Warrior is exactly the same as Goldberg, believes his own height, two moves, but Hogan in the 80s and 90s could work. I don't care and he's a racist piece of shit. But I'm saying you genuinely
no. You make a good point. In the 80s, there was a lot of wrestling was bad.
He could work. He knew how to sell. Goldberg didn't know how to sell. Hogan knew how to work, bro, and Hogan put in the work in the 80s, like 100%. He put in the work.
100%.
You see some of the stuff he did in Japan in the 80s, and you genuinely can't even believe you're watching a Hulk Hogan match, bro. Like, he was actually like wrestling, you know, like. But I was just trying to bring up the ego of the characters, the booking of the characters.
So just I agree with your Hogan point.
But Cena, I 100% agree about Cena.
I think people give a lot of, like, people discredit Hogan's wrestling accolades because of
a lot of people always bring up Warrior, and they say they love Warrior, and I can't.
About the man that he is, right? Because he's not a natural.
Isn't that more to do with the fact that
he's a racist piece of shit. He's an egotistical person. He never liked to put people over. You really had to push him to make him put people over. But wrestling wise, you're right. At the end of the day, he wasn't like the most interesting wrestler. I mean, for us new generation people, he's not the most
we were done with it. We were done with it.
However, you're right. In the 80s,
he knew the business, he understood the business, he respected the business, he knew the business. Goldberg thought he was the business, like, and he was a flash in the pan. He was in it for 2 minutes, you know what I mean? And he was rushed through it. And even the hurting thing, bro. Like, he was hurting people when he started, and he was nearly killing Undertaker at the end. So it's like, how can you be in the business for?
Did you remember when Asuka broke his record?
And he got salty. He got fucking salty on Twitter and got racist and shit.
Yeah, I remember. That's crazy.
No, I remember that.
Thing, right? That was when I really, because I knew he was a piece of shit before then, right?
He was a fucking racist in that moment too.
But at that point, I sat there and I was like, you usually see people, the older they get, the more softer they become, right? Because when I look at a guy like Triple H, when Triple H was like young, he was a piece of shit as well.
Yeah. And now he's a
the
fucking
older
softy.
he got, he started becoming like better. You saw he was pretty fucking go, bro. I'm like, brother, you haven't been an active wrestler for almost 20 fucking years, bro. Like, what do you like, bro? That's the reason.
Even this is what I tried explaining to Spaghetti yesterday, bro. I was losing my shit. He was like, oh, bro, I always imagine JR Goldberg. I was like, bro, you're talking about JR. I was like, Goldberg was in WWE.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this guy's
for like
nostalgia, bro.
I was like, for a year and a half, Goldberg was at his peak in WWE for like a year and a half tops.
Yeah,
best. That, like, Goldberg at his peak. I was like, bro, in WCW for 4 to 5 years, Goldberg was the fucking man. I was like, and if your memories of Goldberg have nothing to do with that, then you don't know fucking shit about him. Like, you just don't know. The Goldberg we got in WWE was such a bad version of Goldberg. Like, it was.
Well, you want to know why that? But we know why.
Yeah, I know.
It's just-
Triple H, Vince.
No. It's not
And
that.
Vince
It's
wanted to fuck WCW again. Like, it was
no. So just can I just add another thing? Because you're right. Back then the politics was bad, but also it's because a lot of times the guys like Vince didn't realize how bad this guy was actually, right? Because they thought.
Oh, I think that I've heard that too.
Yeah,
That when he
because
came
you know
in,
why? Because some of them didn't realize this brother couldn't even go 5 minutes.
yeah,
5 fucking minutes, right? They didn't realize that he couldn't even do that. When they
like,
realized,
and
this
they're
guy
putting him in
fucking
feud
sucks.
with Triple H, who has these slow, plodding, drawn out, methodical matches. Like, his matches with Triple, I just remember, like, that's what I even tried. Like, bro, the dude, he was a troll. But
Bro, I don't know why, but this is so true, by the way. God Catalan just said, bro. Prime Triple H carried Goldberg most of the time.
100%, 100%. And Prime Triple H was Prime Triple H Goldberg was Golden Shovel Triple H, Torn Quad Triple H. Like, it was like a team of Triple H. Like, even us at that point were like, we're kind of done with this cunt, you know? Like, it was. He had done his Hulk Hogan reign of terror, you know, like he'd done it through everybody, and even the fans were booing the shit out of Goldberg back then, like cheering for the you know, despicable heel that had ruled the industry for 2 years, and even they were like, nah, fuck.
Oh yeah, don't forget. Just to say one thing quick. Out of the bad accolades that you just mentioned, you forgot one very important one about Goldberg. He's the same guy that ended Bret Hart's career. Let's never forget that too.
He ended my career.
Oh no!
He ended my
career. Wait. By the way, I thought you were gonna mention
Bill Goldberg.
No, this one is
piece
the
of
craziest
shit.
one. No, this is the craziest one.
Go
How
ahead.
could you have a bigger ego than Brock Lesnar, bro? That would beat Brock Lesnar.
I mean, to be fair, I would say this about Lesnar.
No. Brock's humble.
To be fair about.
No. I mean, like,
Raw.
because but there was a time Brock Lesnar had his own.
No. Okay. I listen. I don't want to do this because Brock Lesnar. We've been seeing the things that apparently he's done.
No, we're talking about the time.
Okay, so wait a minute. Let me just finish, bro. Because I feel like people don't understand a lot about Brock Lesnar. You understand what I mean, right? Brock Lesnar is a wrestler that looks at WWE like a job. He's the guy that looks at it like a job more than any other person, right? He's a guy who does everything he's told to do. Do you understand what I mean, right? When they tell him, we need you to go.
There was a point in time that was not the case, though, Omar.
Yeah,
and then he tried to get himself a better deal.
So the no to Bray thing. I apparently Brock Lesnar.
I understood it. The kooky stuff. He didn't want anything to do with the kooky stuff.
Stylistically, he didn't believe him and Bray could work. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, he didn't want the spooky
stuff. That's more respectable. I'm talking about the time when he faced Roman. When he faced Roman at Mania 34. Or was it 34?
No, but that was.
And he was about to leave. He was about to leave and go.
But that was a Vince decision. Vince chose to let Brock retain because Brock signed a new contract.
When he threw the title at Vince, that's what you're bringing up.
No, but I'm talking about beforehand. He was about to dip, and then all of a sudden.
But that's the thing. They offered him a new contract.
Yeah, but he
wage. That's the thing. He was offered a better contract because he wanted more money. You understand what I mean, right? And the company didn't want to give it, so they were worried that he was going to leave. That's why the whole thing was, Brock Lesnar is going to leave WWE. But when Vince McMahon came back with a newer offer, you understand what I mean, right? Because by then, Brock Lesnar had already agreed that he was going to lose the championship to Roman, right? But when he signed a new contract, this finish was changed last minute. They were like, all right, Brock, you're going to retain the title. That's why he was pissed and he threw the title to
he was pissed at the creative. I know he was pissed at the creative
because they changed everything. I think he didn't want to hold on to championship because he wanted to kind of take a break from like
he was done with it. No, he was, and he thought the whole point of everything was to put over Roman.
That's why he lost the championship at SummerSlam. And did you remember after the whole thing with Brock, Roman having leukemia, right? They had to call Brock back.
They had the veto again.
Yeah.
That was a couple months later. That was like a month and a half, 2 months after the Brock stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I actually thought Zier when you were going to say Brock and Ego, I thought you were going to go back to the 2000s, bro.
Okay, so
Like
what
I
do you
thought
do in the
you
2000s?
know.
Come on,
No, 2000s. I don't know too much of it for me.
No, neither do I. Except that he was just this young, up and coming freak.
Yeah, I know that, but I mean like the behind the scenes
but
stuff.
he dipped on him. He dipped on him the first time because, like, as Omar's saying, he's a businessman and he was
And
still
also, he
young,
didn't like to
and he was
travel.
still he was still young. Yeah, he hated. He's
And
always
also,
hated the schedule.
don't forget this, Jester, because I live in America, right? And for the other people who don't know, the first time he left WWE in 2005,
UFC.
When he left,
Vikings. The Vikings.
Yes, it wasn't actually because of UFC. Remember,
NFL.
he left because
NFL.
he wanted to focus on NFL, right?
Yeah, he went back to
he
NFL.
had
Minnesota
to be
Vikings.
in the Minnesota Vikings. He failed, and then guess what? Right, because he didn't want to come back to WWE because he hated the traveling schedule. Because he didn't like
UFC.
traveling all the time, right? He hated his full-time schedule. That's why. Do you remember? This is why he came back with a part-time schedule, guys. Why do you think when he came back to WWE, he only comes, does some things, and then goes for months?
I remember seeing the photos, the old memes, bro, and it was either 2003 or 4, but he appeared in the space of 6 months. He was in a WWE game. Then he was in an NFL game, and then he was in UFC. In the space of don't
forget
6 months, he was in video game form.
Because remember, before he signed for UFC, before he signed for UFC, I don't know if you remember this, because after the whole thing with the Minnesota Vikings didn't work, he wanted to come back to wrestling. However, he didn't want to come back to WWE. Right?
Yeah.
He didn't want to come back because he didn't want to do a full-time schedule again, right? So he wanted to go to New Japan, who promised him to have a part-time.
Yeah, I remember that, because he did fuck them over.
Remember he fought Kurt Angle at New Japan.
Yeah,
right?
I know what happened for the IWGP title, and he forced them to make a new title. He forced them to literally physically make a new title.
That was a sick match between him and
the match was incredible, bro.
The match between him and in Japan,
yeah.
I think that's their best ever match.
That was the match too that started to put New Japan back on the map, bro. And started to show other people that you could go to New Japan and become a fucking huge star.
Brock Lesnar was like the biggest name, because Brock Lesnar at the time, people still remember
huge.
Brock from WWE. So when he went to New Japan, everyone's like, oh shit, and then Kurt Angle joined them, right? And they had that famous match, and then everyone started watching New Japan, and then he left. He left after losing to Kurt, and then he went to UFC.
He left New Japan before he was meant to do a program with Shinsuke at the end.
Oh, that was unfortunate.
He walked out. He walked out, and he cited creative was a part of it too, but they changed the booking, everything, and ended up doing it with Kurt. And then Kurt had the run that he had, but he was meant to be the guy that was going to put Shinsuke on the map.
And also, the important thing is just also don't forget this.
Oh, we need one thing that
one thing that Brock Lesnar, the reason why he even signed for UFC is because also with UFC he felt like he was going to be in a place where he could just fight, just have a match, right? A fight, right? Scheduled on like months, so he can train in his home.
He's training camp stuff. Yeah,
right, training camp. That's why when he returned in WWE in 2011, that's the agreement he did with Vince. He told Vince, "Yo, I am not
short time, part time. Yeah,
I'm only gonna come here, have a rivalry maybe for like 1 or 2 or 3 matches, and then I'm gone for months."
That's why even now, Triple H's WWE would probably be the best place for Brock Lesnar ever.
Oh, of course.
He could be happy, spend time with his family, etc.
And it's sad because of the whole thing that's happened to him recently.
I know,
you could tell, you can genuinely tell, right, in the past, like his last run before all of this thing happened, he was genuinely enjoying.
It's the first time I've seen him actually enjoying feeling free.
That's like even bro, like Spaghetti trying to bring up saying that he needed Heyman. I was like, have you fucking seen Brock Lesnar with a microphone? Have you seen Brock Lesnar in UFC?
I actually enjoyed the shameless
Cowboy Lesnar was
Cowboy Brock Lesnar, Farmer Brock Lesnar.
Shameless Brock Lesnar that says whatever he wants.
Cowboy Lesnar is my favorite because dude, he can just he's just being himself.
Weird, but
him and R-Truth, bro. Him and R-Truth. He genuinely wanted to work with R-Truth after that. Like Vince wouldn't let where was that going to go? Were they going to be a tag team or whatever?
Yeah, the thing that they
Bro.
had the year before, it made Brock really like
But
after that. He was like,
funny,
yeah, I want this
likable, yeah,
Like,
believable, relatable, like the most human he'd ever seen, bro. Like besides seeing him with his
Oh,
daughter.
that was a funny
But
part.
yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
That
All
was
right, we'll
good.
move
but
on.
guys, yeah, but I want to move
All
on
right, let's
to
move on.
the
Let's move on. Let's move on.
yeah, because we've been 49 minutes.
Get on to something else from SmackDown, and then we'll go from there.
And actually, I was gonna get on. I was SmackDown. The only thing really to talk about, I mean, is two things. One is the fact Tiffany's facing Trish, and the other one
So
is
the girls, yeah.
and the other one is that bloodline stuff. And if you want to talk about, which I'm pretty sure we don't need to, but that whole Charlotte and Alexa Bliss shit. That's the only. So like, I rather we move on to Raw. Personally.
Yeah, I don't care about Charlotte and Alexa. It was like I said last week.
Listen, if there's one thing I'm going to say about that,
Although I'm not gonna
They're
lie,
gonna be
we
the
should see
team.
if Bliss can actually change Charlotte. Like,
Jester, can I just say this? As long as Charlotte is not in the main event or challenging for world championship,
I know, but Alexa,
I don't care. I mean, listen.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what?
it's fair.
Maybe now I might actually start watching some of her matches and not have to be
but
pissed off because it's not
what's
the-
what? They'll be a legitimate
Yeah,
tag
I
team.
think I'm thinking like you, bro, because it's a fact Alexa Bliss is with her and that all
Yeah,
that
you
shit.
know, they can win the tag team titles. That's a championship.
But they could be a legitimate tag team. Short and
cool.
tall. Short and tall. They can
And
both
then it
wrestle.
puts Charlotte Flair a little bit down to earth, you know.
And also the important thing is if they become an over tag team, that can actually bring more fans towards Charlotte now. Right, so people won't have to just hate her because it's
Yeah,
single.
because she's with
She's doing it.
Alexa.
So when
Yeah.
it is with
Yeah,
Alexa,
but some
and they
people
have-
will
and they
also say
chemistry-
it took Alexa Bliss to get there, though, Omar. Some
No,
people
but no,
will actually
it
say
doesn't matter, bro.
Nah.
If they have a good chemistry, it's like when
Yeah,
they had
yeah.
the Kane.
No, all right.
Kane-
Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
Let's
Kane
go for
and
it.
Daniel Bryan thing, it made both men.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. That's literally what I was thinking straight away.
Yeah,
like
that's-
when big and small.
Big and
Like I
small,
was thinking of some of the
you can do
classic
this.
tag teams
You
when
know
it's
what they
been a
can do,
big
Jester?
guy and
They
a
can do
small
the
guy.
frenemy thing. They can do the feminine.
Yeah,
where it's
yep.
like Charlotte
Yeah.
doesn't want to tag, but then
They
he
want
has
to
to
out
tag
wrestle
because
each
they're
other.
Yeah, it's
They'll be
gonna be
showing
fun.
off
It
to
would
each
be funny.
other.
Don't get it twisted. I mean, I found it cringe though when she hugged Bliss. But
Hey,
anyway,
listen,
Yeah,
I didn't
anything
care. I
Charlotte
didn't care
does
about
is cringe. Anything Charlotte does promo wise is cringe. man.
no, but you know
Um,
what? I thought it was cringe. I thought it was cringe because first of all, it was so like straightforward, and then secondly, it's out of Charlotte's character.
It's out of both their characters.
You know what?
It's out of both their
Maybe
characters.
that's what she needs.
No, but Alexa
You know-
Bliss
you
is
know,
more
but
understandable than
that's-
Charlotte.
Maybe that's what he needs, just Nazir. He needs
You know,
to be
she's
out
never
of
really
character.
been
he needs to
friends
be
with
more-
anyone.
Yeah, he needs to be.
She's
yeah, he
only
needs to be
used
out of
people.
character now, because his character is why people hate her. Change your character.
Yeah.
Change your
Yeah,
character.
yeah,
make
no,
people
well, yeah,
understand
it could work.
something.
Everyone loves Alexa, so it could work, man. They could. I mean, it could work.
Maybe.
Look,
But yeah,
the promos made it seem obvious a little while ago that that's where it was headed. If it wasn't going to be them
100%,
turning
yeah,
on each
yeah.
other.
Look, guys, I'm gonna tell you guys this because I know you guys started SmackDown before I got here, but one thing I loved about SmackDown is this beginning, bro. That when I turn my TV on, and then the first thing I see is Solo
Tiffy time.
getting. No, this is the Solo thing, bro. Solo.
Solo
and,
getting attacked by Jacob
Bro,
too. Yeah, he got attacked.
Jacob destroying those guys in the car. Yo, I was like, this is exactly how I want my road to start this match. I just want crash out, bro. I just want crash out.
No, we're here for chaos, Omar.
Jacob,
You know
man.
me.
But look-
I'm the first guy here for chaos. But bro, listen, you want to talk about chaos? Braun Breaker, guys. He's chaotic.
Oh, the start of Raw. I see. I was going to. Yeah.
You know, I was so close to titling it. Is he teasing turning on Seth? Because
I think it's they've already clearly tasted it,
because
but
the
I
guy
think
was
they've got to.
talking over Seth, and then
Yeah, it was bad.
Braun
But so did
Reed.
so they both did basically though. They both did.
Yeah.
It seemed like Seth wasn't in control of his group, or he's recruited two dudes that are so crazy and egotistical that they can't be controlled. It seems more like that, but I think they're going to stretch this out, bro. I think they're just sprinkling, you know, the first.
No, but this is
I
like
think
a
they're-
little like.
If
hint
these dudes
for the
run a
future.
group for anything less than a year, it's been a waste of time. Like,
Yeah,
if
I
they-
agree with
you
you
know what I mean?
100%.
like,
Seth has to look. Seth still has to win the championship while they're in the group.
Yeah, so, you
Yes,
know what?
yes.
You know what needs to happen. You know what needs.
What?
You know why I feel like this.
The idea is there.
the Batista evolution thing.
Yeah, you know what it is. Sometimes when you see things like what happened yesterday happen, where like you mentioned, Braun Breaker took the mic off, Paul, and starts talking, and you could see the look in their face and all of this. Usually they're teasing something, right? Now I'm not saying this breakup is coming soon. I don't think it is. right? But usually WWE have this tendency of doing long-term booking. So if this becomes like a regular thing, and let's say next time Braun Breaker's angry again, he gets the mic off Paul again, that might start to irritate Seth. And the problem is, if it starts irritating Seth with Braun, the kind of guy that Braun is, Braun might be like, "What? Why are you talking to me that way? You feel me, right? Why are you speaking to me in that kind of manner? You feel me, right?" And for me, I feel like you mentioned, Seth has to win the championship because I'm not saying one of them, Braun or Braun Breaker or what's his name, Bronson Reed is going to take
Bronson.
the championship. I don't think they are. However, I think that the dysfunction between all of them is going to be a key into why he loses the championship. You understand what I mean, right? In the future, now wherever that is, right? Now, I don't know what they have planned for for Seth at SummerSlam. I thought it was going to be Roman Reigns. I'm still, don't get it twisted. There's still time for the Roman Reigns thing, but this whole thing that they're doing with CM Punk, clearly, if they adding CM Punk in this somewhere. You understand what I mean, right? You just that's why it makes no fucking sense that they're adding. Like, what was the point? So what? Is CM Punk gonna face Seth at another pay-per-view? Like, come on, man. Like, we've already dealt through this. Because I don't know. Something tells me. But also, now that I'm saying that, guys, did you see what happened last week on Raw when Seth Punk went after Seth and then Gunther stopped him and pushed him, right?
Yeah, but that's a
Hold
that's a
on, hold on.
teaser for Punk v Gunther
No,
in the
no. So
future.
that's the thing, right? I feel like don't be surprised. And this is a huge one. Listen to what I'm about to say here, guys. If they do decide to bring Roman back, right, for the for SummerSlam, what if we have a match between Gunther and Punk, in which at some point in the match, if one of them wins, let's say CM Punk beats Gunther and wins the championship, Seth cashes in and wins the championship of CM Punk.
Yeah, that'd be
Because
perfect.
because remember, Seth has never pinned Punk. So
And
But
it's
because of the world
like,
title now, it's like I
this would
am
be
the
the
one.
ultimate. Like, this is gonna be the moment that we're gonna see Crash
and it
Out
goes
Punk.
back. It's full
Like, think
circle.
about
It goes back to the WrestleMania and him laughing at Drew as it happened to him.
Imagine
It's full circle.
the kind of Punk we can see after that. CM Punk could just crash out on everybody because he cost them the championship at the Night of Champions, right, in Saudi. And he took the championship that he won. Because remember, he said, listen, as long as Punk is here, he will never be world champion as long as I'm here. Imagine he was the world championship and then Seth takes it away from him.
So I hate just a minor thing. I hate that every time Seth picks up a microphone now, people just
I
chant
hate it, bro. I hate it.
CM Punks. It's like we're done. Like, why are you chanting for a guy's name that's like it's
No,
genuinely like it's
So here's
it's
my
getting to this.
perspective. No, I get you, and I agree with, and this is something I addressed recently. For some reason, like, and I was saying this during the whole Jey Uso entrance thing. It's like fans want to go there and enjoy it, have a good time, but then the problem is it ruins it for the viewer at times. Like that's the problem. Like when you're like feeling like the whole adrenaline
Because
thing.
it's like they were CM Punk and Seth. They were wanting
Yeah, I know.
Bronson,
I get you.
but
Just
they were all
what it
for Bron. They were like into Bronze segment. Then they
and
were
they're trying to
CM
see Punk to rattle Seth Rollins. They're trying to
and
rattle
then
Seth.
like I don't know if it was where they were or whatever, but it killed me, bro. Like for what was a very important piece, the crowd participation in that piece killed me. Oh, and like Punk's.
No, but
Punk
again, Justin, but
and Seth,
Justin, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something, and this is something I realized when I was at the pay-per-view the other week. Like, fans are gonna chant for the sake of chanting. It's not gonna make sense at all.
Just that, you know what they need to start doing? They need to do the Undertaker thing. You remember how Undertaker was able to kill the what chant? Remember that one time, right? He was in the ring, and then everything he said is the fans said what, and then he turned around and said, say what if you like to sleep with your own sister? And then
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
and then everybody starts.
Oh,
saying what.
yeah, I know what you mean. So like bait them into saying something stupid, but they actually
No,
won't
bro,
say
no,
it.
listen, that's what you gotta do sometimes. You gotta be like, listen, that's one way to kill your vibe.
Seth didn't even seem like
Wait,
he was acknowledging,
didn't
to be
Alexa
honest.
Bliss do this with the what as well?
Yeah, he was like, if you guys think Alexa Bliss is the
Yeah,
greatest, say
yeah.
what? And then he said, and then they started saying what?
She
And
said
also
it really quickly.
and also there's another one, right? You know how the Rock was the best.
The
at
Rock,
doing it, right?
yeah, I remember the
The
Rock's
Rock
one.
was one of these people who, when they were doing stupid chants, he would insult the fans so much they would stop chanting just to pull the shit out
Like
of
the
them.
corporate version of the Rock.
Like, remember when he
Oh
did
yeah, I
the,
was like,
the
shut
Canada,
it now, shut the fuck up now.
remember when he did the Canada one, right? He said, Joe Brony beating pie eating, turbulence, eyebrow raising, faster, stronger than a bear, faster than a buck, the biggest thing to ever hit Canada because the maple leaves suck. And
Yeah.
He had the one in California. He's like, I love Sacramento, but you know what I love more? I love that in 5 minutes the Rock is gonna leave Sacramento.
Yeah, he always does that.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like with Punk needs to accept. He needs to embrace his heelish side, right?
I feel like it's weird. I hate this face Punk. I hate it. He's booked like Superman. I hate it. I want heel Punk. I don't.
Hey, yo, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm done.
His matches are good, but I just hit the booking of it, bro.
You know
Like
what
he's
the
an
best thing
old
about heel
man and
Punk
he's
is?
getting booked like Superman.
Because you know what? If heel Punk gets cheered, he's gonna absolutely.
The problem is the fans love.
But see that I even thought that yesterday with Seth's entrance. He's bro, like it's like, and he's still even like they better hurry up and change this theme song or something because he's still even conducting them when he comes out and like the crowd involvement. They don't want to hate him. They don't want to hate any.
And you know what's funny? It's a stupid concept because in wrestling that we know, Jester, right? Is that heels act like
it's changed now.
Heels want to be Heels want to be like the best heels were the heels that were genuinely pies. Like one thing I would say, like you see Triple H,
and the best champions are the ones that tore people both ways. Hulk Hogan, John Cena, etc.
Yeah, Triple H as a heel,
Triple H
was hated because he had power in behind the scenes, and in front of the scenes, he didn't even hide that. Yeah, I'm the guy. I'm married to the boss's daughter. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna use the power that I got, and I'm gonna stay in the top. And you guys are gonna do nothing but like it. You feel me, right? So everybody wanted to see this guy get his ass kicked. And you know what the best part was? Whenever he lost the championship, he would win it back, and that would make him even more hated because now he's the champion again. And now they have to see him as champion, sit down and say, "I'm the game. I am the king of kings." I'm like, yo,
that's why I love shit.
But see, this is the thing, man. Even like you remember Randy Orton when he was a heel. Like remember like 07 to 09 Randy Orton, bro. That heel Randy Orton.
I think that's the greatest heel Randy Orton I've ever seen in my life.
That heel Randy Orton was a psychopath. That heel Randy Orton he didn't care about nobody but himself, bro. He was
that run alone is that run
kicking
and it's
everybody's heads off, bro.
In like one of the GOAT styles. That run alone.
That's what I'm saying.
That guy's crazy, bro.
Bro,
man decided to DDT Stephanie McMahon, and bro, this guy's crazy.
Bro,
and then punt Vince, punt everybody.
Like you mentioned, Justin, he needs to quit. He needs to get rid of this theme song. Remember when Sami Zayn became a heel and he had to change his theme song because he didn't want people to sing his song. But guess what? When he became a face again, he started doing the song again because that's what you want to do, bro. You don't want the fans to be supporting you.
Yeah, I know, but it's like it's with Seth. He's just I don't know.
I think the problem is he's changed songs too much in the past 5 years. I think that's why they're not doing it.
No, but I know he's feeding to it. He's feeding to it. But
the problem is as well, if you remember when he turned heel, I believe it was on Kevin Owens, if I'm not mistaken. This was like after he lost the Universal title to Lesnar, and then the whole announcement change, and then that whole segment after Survivor Series.
The Fiend.
Yeah, when he lost to the Fiend. Sorry, yes, you're correct. That one. He changed his theme song around Mania. I think after Mania.
And you know what the best part was?
And then he changed his theme song again. So I don't think they want to change it anymore.
No. So this is the thing. So here's the thing. Even if they don't change the theme song, you want to do. I feel like with heels have to do discuss. Like you know how.
That's what I was going to say. They've got
I
to do
think
something
Seth just
really
has to
bad.
respond. Yeah, I think Seth just have to respond. Yeah.
When Kevin Owens became a heel, he started taking everybody out.
Yeah,
Like
he was just killing everyone left, right,
he
center.
became paranoid.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
why he's one of the
tombstoning
greatest
and
guys to
pile
not
driving
win much
everybody.
titles, bro.
But
Yeah,
that's what I thought too.
but
They
you know
need to
what
kill the
it-
crowd
you-
participation, and they need
know
to
what-
genuinely make him get
know what the best
booed,
part
not
is?
just.
You know what the best part is? They could do this thing, right? Because you know Seth Rollins' move, the curb stomp. He can perform that anywhere. If I'm Seth, you know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna start taking out the pads that are on the floor, taking it out and curb stomping.
Do it on
taking them out.
do it on the
Because when you
edge of
start
the
doing
ring.
that and they start showing the people like getting stretched off, the fans are gonna start cheering for this and say, "Yo, this guy is a psychopath. He wants to take everybody out."
Yeah, it needs to. Yeah, they need something because at the moment the crowd, it's and also because it's a
What's
super
come
group
from these
because
big
it's
rings?
Paul Heyman. It's like they're cool. They're Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and Seth Rollins, and they're getting cheered. So it just doesn't feel right on TV. Like you were saying, it's very different in the arena, the way it feels to the way it looks on TV and shit. But yeah, it was I will say all those promos and the way Seth was reacting to it did seem. I was just like, fuck, they're pulling this really quick. Like, they're pulling the plug on this real quick.
I think they're just throwing the teaser for the future. Just I don't think they're gonna.
But why? Like, we didn't even need it, bro. It's obvious. Like any
Well,
group
you know what it is?
gets
I
put
think what they're
together is
trying
going to
to-
break up. There's your teaser.
No, but Jester, you have to understand something. They're trying their level hardest to like give Seth the spotlight, but at the same time, they're trying to give Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed the spotlight because if they don't, what's going to happen is Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed will eventually
They just become irrelevant. I know what you mean. Like they become irrelevant.
So that's why I think they did what
it was a good segment. 100%.
Just so that they make them feel relevant.
Bro, I can't believe they gave Bronson the microphone. Like, and I genuinely thought the crowd were dogs. They were all for Bronson. They were fucking. What?
Justin, do you like Bronson?
I love Bronson, bro. I love Bronson Reed. He's big
Aussie,
Jonah Rock,
Aussie.
man. Like, he's an Aussie. He's talented. He's fucking.
As I said, this is the most Australians I've seen in WWE in my lifetime. I saw Buddy Murphy recently. I know he left, but you had Rhea Ripley, and now you've got.
But yeah, he's from like he's an Islander. He's an actual Islander boy. But he's full of. I think it's his mum is white and his dad is the Islander, or the other way around. It's one of them. But I know he's got one white parent. But still, he's born and raised in Adelaide, South Australia. He's like that's how Australians sound. How he talks, that's how Australians sound.
No, he's a typical Australian, right?
Relatively soft spoken and well spoken for a fella of his size. Like he doesn't, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't sound like he could put on like a Hugh Jackman like voice and sound like way more of a badass. But I love the dude. I do love the dude. I followed his whole career. I can't believe when they fired him. Like, bro, New Japan was spewing, man. Because when WWE fired him, he went straight to New Japan. He was literally the only person in the last year that Okada was in New Japan who beat Okada at G1. At G1, he beat Okada like within his first 6 months of being there. They were like, "You are going to be our Brock Lesnar." Like 100%. And then WWE got him back and he walked out like that, bro. Like New Japan were going to turn him into the man.
But Jester, I know that, but look at what they did. Because remember,
I'm so glad he come back, bro. I'm so glad he's come back. And the War Games shit, his involvement in War Games and the respect he got after that.
Right? What he did with Seth, when he destroyed it.
The killing him. Yeah. Well, I thought it was cheeky yesterday when he brought it up in the promo. I thought it was cheeky when he was like, I beat the respect into Seth.
Bro, and you know what I love about, and you know what it is with Bronson Reed? Because I remember Bronson Reed when he was in NXT. They were trying to, remember, they released him. That's why he went to New Japan.
I know.
Because he was going to have a feud with Adam Cole, because he was actually having a lot of momentum in NXT.
North American
and he had that momentum with Adam Cole, and then they just released him right before they had that match.
And also, like, when he got the title, they had, like, they let him have like the special celebration with his wife and shit, and they had the fucking fireworks and that. Like it was like, and then 2 months later he was gone. Like
Bro, it was
it was like
embarrassing.
dude, Keith Lee. They did the exact same thing with Keith Lee too, bro.
This
The
is why
exact
I mean,
same booking,
like
exact
there
same
was so
title.
many, and you know what? This is why Triple H, right? One thing when he came back in WWE, because he was Triple H's guy, so was Keith
He
Lee.
was one of his
That's why.
boys. He was
That's why.
the
That's why.
Aussies.
That's why Keith Lee. If he was in WWE now, oh my God,
Yeah, he'd probably be killing it.
I could see him. I could have seen him turning into a heel and just being this badass heel, right?
Yeah,
Who was just
same.
destroyed. Like, you know how they do with Bronson Reed? They could have done something
Yeah.
like that to Keith Lee.
Well, I thought the
SmackDown, where he
best thing
was
they did with Bronson outright has been War Games. Like his involvement in War Games, and then
flying
what
off
he
the roof,
did,
flying off the roof.
what he did
my
was
God.
incredible. Like it'll be one of those visuals that'll never get erased from WWE TV. Like that is the biggest man they have ever sent off the
you know
top
why?
of something.
I feel
And
Like-
he hurt his ankle and all
And he
that.
Yeah,
fucked up.
yeah.
He fucked, and like the amount of respect he got though, bro. Like when he went up there, the crowd were like, nah. Like there was
Nah,
like
bro,
a
a guy of
they
your stature,
started
you do it.
popping, and then there was a hush, and then when he got ready to, and then when he did it, it was just like, you know, and he didn't stand for the rest of the match. But I mean, he earned a lot of respect from
But you
I
know
think
what
because
it
I
is?
think
It
a
was
lot of
easy.
people
It
were
was
hating on him.
easy. It was easy for him to not continue the match because he fell on a table. So he
Yeah,
was
I
just
know,
out
I
of-
know.
out of
And he was
commission.
literally, he was like Vince sitting in the corner, bro. Like,
Yeah, listen, man,
Um,
because his leg was completely.
but I
fucked.
genuinely think like I'm glad they rushed him back. I'm because like that was going to be it for him. You know, I think like he'd still be involved in the bloodline stuff if he didn't get injured. I think
Oh, he
like
could have
he'd
been
probably
doing. He
still
could
be
have had
with
a feud with
Solo.
CM Punk.
Who knows?
have had-
Yeah, well, he
I
was
think-
killing
I think-
everyone. He was going up. He was
I think because of the it wouldn't have surprised me if the
he was
reason why they
targeting
brought
the
CM
top
Punk-
people.
Yes, CM Punk. Because remember, CM Punk helped Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns in that War Games. It wouldn't have surprised
Oh
me.
yeah,
knowing
yeah.
that. And then
So,
they
yeah.
and then they had a feud between Punk
Yeah.
and Bronson Reed, right? And look, I like you mentioned. You know what I think, right? I think WWE they look at Bronson Reed as like this generation's Earthquake. You know, Earthquake. Remember Earthquake or Bam Bam Bigelow?
Yeah.
And
Bam Bam.
bro, I'd compare him to a Yokozuna because everyone always rates Yokozuna's work rate. How Yokozuna could work.
Yokozuna was heavier and he was a little bit immobile. I feel like
Yeah, I know, but
Bronson Reed is
Earthquake was
mobile.
more. I guess
Yeah, but
I know I'm more John
I think
Penta.
Bronson Reed has more to his arsenal than what's he
I'd say like an Otis. He's like an Otis without the goofy shit.
No, he's a way better. He's way better than
Yeah,
Otis.
he's an incredible wrestler, bro.
Way
I've seen him. I've seen in the flesh him wrestle Tetsuya Naito for the MCW title, and
Wow.
like Tetsuya Naito is like a wrestler. You know what I mean? Like he's like a lucha trained Mexican Japanese wrestler. Like he will do all his flippy shit and spin around you. And watching him have a 20-minute match with a pure super heavyweight like Bronson Reed, and telling the story of in that, and that was 5 years ago plus.
You still watch New Japan, Justin?
No, I barely keep up with it. Truthfully, at the moment, they just their roster. I keep up with it, details,
It's
highlights,
really
shit like
sad,
that.
man.
Their
It's really
roster
sad.
has been
Bruh.
destroyed,
Bruh,
like just
bruh,
crippled.
I remember-
Like
I
even-
remember, you know, when
even
that guys
them putting the title on. As much as I loved Zack Sabre, them putting the title on Zack Sabre was because he was literally the only guy that had left, the only foreign wrestler, and then them putting the title on Goto shows how far Okada, Shinsuke, like there's nothing left in New Japan, bro.
No, I'm
All the
telling
big
you.
names, Jay White, Will Ospreay, Okada, like any of the big names are just. And then even Jonah was going to become that name, but. I keep up with all the results, but it's like even bro, they've got like a third or fourth iteration of the Bullet Club in New Japan, and nobody fucking cares. Like it's just they've killed it over there. Like AEW helped kill it, WWE helped kill it. They're struggling.
Yeah, but by the way, the whole Bullet Club thing, there was different versions of the group. I think
can I tell you this, Jay, before you continue? I was watching. I would say I watched the best version of New Japan probably in 2014, 15.
Tanahashi and Okada.
Dude, they had Okada, they had Finn Balor, they had AJ Styles, they
Yeah.
had Kenny Omega, they had
The cleaner,
who
when he
else?
was the cleaner still.
Shinsuke Nakamura was still there. Yeah, when he was. Remember, he had his finisher was called the Bumaye,
The
right?
Bumaye.
Back when he, right? Dude, I remember
And
watching the
Kota
Shinsuke.
Ibushi still does it.
Kota Ibushi, another one. You're absolutely right.
Super Junior.
Bruh.
Yeah. And you look at where all those guys are now.
And I remember the matches. I remember the AJ Styles Shinsuke match. The last match, I think Shinsuke's last match. Bro,
that was the first time I'd seen people doing like elbow strikes and knee strikes and shit in a match.
That match, one of the greatest, like
spinning back elbows and shit.
That was genuine wrestling, man. And I remember watching Kenny Omega and Okada in 2016 or 2017 or 2018.
The second or third one. The second or third one is the best
Kingdom,
one.
I think. Yeah, Wrestling Kingdom 2018, I think. Bro?
Is it who won? Who won the match?
I think it might.
Who won the match?
I remember.
So it's the second one. It was the second one.
Bro, that match was sick, bro. These two fought each other.
There was the Kenny copped about fucking 18 Rainmakers.
Did you remember the match where? Did you remember the part of the match where they literally beat each other so much they actually both fell out of exhaustion and they continued?
Yeah, and they were like collapsing. Yeah, they were doing. Yeah. Anyways, we've got distracted.
Sorry, man. Sorry, man.
No, man. Listen, I just want to talk about one more thing, and then we're gonna end it here.
From Raw.
Carrying Cross.
Oh, bro,
I'm glad they're doing.
Brothers over. Brothers over.
By the way, we were chanting, bro. We were chanting in the countdown show. We were chanting the guy's name. One guy next to me, he has a picture of Karrion Kross on his phone. I think I sent it in the group chat, and the guy's trying to show it on cam. That's how over he is. So, listen.
We love to see it. I'm glad.
But that's how over. And by the way, you know when he came to the L, he and Scarlett, they got one of the greatest welcome you'll ever see during. I have not. I wish I was there, but they charged us money, bro. I couldn't go. It sold out.
I have not enjoyed anything he's done since NXT.
No. But you know why that is, Justin.
Yeah, I know why it is, mate. I know why it is. But I'm just saying that even if you look at NXT Cross to the Cross we have now, and when I look at the two versions of them, I don't even know how I like the NXT version because the version we have now is like the greatest version of Cross that's ever existed. The whole like assassin hitman look thing that he had going on in NXT, I didn't like that. No. His presentation with Scarlett, I loved. The entrance, loved it. His matches, fine. He actually reminded me of an old school Triple H. He never set the world on fire for me. I think the best match I ever seen him have was Andrade and maybe a Drew match somewhere in there too.
You reminded me of a Randy Orton person.
His matches has all the ability in the world to wrestle. He's very much so. He's always been like if you summed him up into what type of wrestler he is or what era wrestler he is, he's 2002 Triple H. Like his style in the ring is it's not slow or methodical, but it's like a break you down. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have to be flashy, but I mean he's a man of power slams, of knee drops, of neck breakers. He's a basic wrestler. He's a big dude. He's got the greatest look. He's got the greatest entrance, but his wrestling style has never been one of massive technicality or massive substance. And in NXT, I thought that was like they really lent on that. And I hated it because in NXT, all the champions had been fighting champions, and then all of a sudden we had this guy that would like just destroy everybody that he fought, but he'd do it in this like slow. It wasn't like a KO way, it wasn't like an Andrade way or a Drew way or a Shinsuke way. Like it was just this much older version of wrestling, and it took me a little while to like appreciate what he was doing there. But his run there was great, and then everything since, like they changed his look 100 times.
Yeah,
barely give him TV time. They barely give him a microphone.
Can I just add to your point, Justin, very quickly? Because
I was just going to get to the
Go.
final thing. Was say the current version of him, his look right now is everything that I ever loved about wrestlers. You know, like a big fucking dude with long hair and a metal entrance and a hot chick by his side. That's just a badass, no questions about it. So, like, the version that he's become now is the best version of him we've ever had. And it's made me think back to when I've at least appreciated his ring work, and now we're being denied his ring work too. So, like, I'm basically saying he's made me a fan just from his look and his promo work. And I'm saying that LA Knight ain't good enough because all he has is a look and promo work. You know what I mean? So, like, Cross has converted me the other way around, but they've got something, they got to fucking run with it.
And that's the important thing, just to add to your point. I think that when it comes to Karrion Kross, yes, like, he's got the whole article. He's got the body for it.
The whole package. The whole package.
The whole package.
The total package.
He's got the body for it. He's got the skills, like the wrestling skills for it, right? He's got the look, like, let's be honest, like, he's got the look that the kind of guy that WWE want to take to the top, right?
You could go either way with his look. You could make him look like a fucking baby face. You could make him look like a heel.
But this is the thing, right? What he has is this, like, his character character itself, the charisma that he has, like, to be like that devil on your shoulder and all of this stuff. I like
best version of it we've had.
I like the way his promos, you can see, like, he's not always, like, you know, losing it and all this stuff. He's very calm, meticulous in the way he speaks, you know, breaks things down. Like, I
always looking the camera in the eye too. Like, it's always like he's addressing
I like
you.
The way he's always looking at the camera, like, he's like, you know, when he's talking to Sam,
like he's got a connection with you. He's talking to you when he's saying.
He's talking to you when he's saying.
This is what they're denying us.
And this is the thing, right? They could have used, like, you know how they did with the thing with the New Day, Xavier Woods. I liked that because eventually that culminated into the whole New Day today. What do we see now with the Biggie and all of this? The arguments. It all started from who? Karrion Kross getting into his head, right? When they started out with Sami Zayn, they kind of quit it.
Yeah, he's done it with everyone.
That was stupid.
Everyone.
Right? Then they went to the AJ Styles thing. They didn't work with that. I feel like they should have used that thing hella earlier, right? They should have done the thing with AJ Styles where he could have had the match with AJ Styles at WrestleMania, right? And keep doing this, right? And you know what? I would have given him the win. Like, oh, you know what? You could give the win to AJ Styles if you want to. Where, let's say, you know what? You know what would have been the best part, right? Imagine if Karrion Kross, because they gave Logan Paul the match. They should have given Logan Paul the match. For me,
that would have been sick, actually.
If they are giving Karrion Kross the match, imagine at some point.
And then we get like a Paul character change because of it.
Yeah, you know the brass knucks moment, right? Let's say Karrion Kross is like, all right, do it. Do it. You know you want to do it. And then AJ Styles says no. And then he capitalizes and beats AJ Styles. And he's down there taunting AJ Styles like, you had a chance to finish it and you couldn't do it because you're not the same guy. Feed into your anger. Feed into that hatred in your heart.
I hear it, man.
It would have been so cool, man.
That would have been cool. 100%. That would have been.
But yeah, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a dead man. No pun intended.
Dead man walking.
They are.
You done it now. You're gonna make a big mistake.
It's gonna be dead man sleeping next. Listen, I'm gonna end here. Who's live? I can redirect it.
Anyway, big up to you guys.
Hang on. Yeah, no worries.
No, well, you speak, just it's fine. I'm just finding so much.
Hang on. So what we got? We got main event this weekend.
Yeah.
Everything's this weekend, isn't it? Everything is this weekend.
Yeah, Saturday night's main event.
NXT, fucking Evolution, main event,
what?
AEW.
All of that. Oh, wow.
Everything is this weekend, bro. Like, it is like one of the biggest weekends in wrestling in a little time.
Well, it is what it is.
Because they counter booked AEW show with Evolution, and now Evolution's not even selling tickets, and AEW is going to be a sellout. So it's kind of hilarious. But it's going to be a big week in it, bro, in wrestling. So I'm sure we'll have a lot more to talk about next week. Lack of shit for Evolution too. The build up has been piss poor. Apparently, too, like
but I'm just, the problem is certain. But the problem is they're just trying to push women's agenda. Just do every year and let them earn their place. I've said this like for time now, like.
Which they've been like slowly doing since kind of Mania, but yeah, they haven't. And you're the one who also wants to reduce everything to 2 hours, bro. Less TV time means less development, and less development is, you know what I mean? I genuinely think they need a women's show. I don't think they should separate the women from Raw and SmackDown, but I think the women should have
they need a specific show for them.
1 hour, a 1 hour a week show. 3 matches, few segments, 1 hour a week. Women of SmackDown and Raw.
Oh, like how NXT used to do, I think 1 hour NXT.
Well, whatever. But you could do two. You could do 2 hours. If you gave it 2 hours, you could generally give every single woman on the program a program.
I think 2 hours is probably better, Joe. You can build
it would work better. 1 hour is insulting. Trying to fit 3 matches into 1 hour is insulting.
No. Do 2 hours, 2 hours, because that way you.
But I genuinely think, and like, you want to push an agenda or not, people are going to watch it. If you've got fucking Jackie Redmond and Kathy Kelly as the host of it, like, people are going to tune in.
But
they're going to want to watch
that. But forget, we're talking about quality as well. We're not just talking about like.
No, I'm not saying commentating or whatever, but I'm saying genuinely, like, in terms of the way they're backstage or the way they've got a Nick Aldis or whatever. So if Kathy Kelly and Jackie Redmond,
people are looking at their appearance.
I mean, a female-led program, bro, where every single the only men that are on it are whoever female has a manager, and he's only there to be a joke and ridiculed or whatever. Like, it's like, keep them on Raw and SmackDown, but rather than force a program once every 2 years or every 3 years or whatever, bro, like, there's so many women that all right. 1 mandatory tag match a week, you'd solve the female fucking tag problem, wouldn't you?
No, you wouldn't.
You know what I mean? For not seeing. So 1 non-tag title tag women's match a week. Then it's going to force you into a situation where you're going to start to see other teams that are tag teams that aren't. You know what we've been saying? Like, none of these women have teams. Like Alexa and Charlotte right now. So it would be a program for them to do without being involved in a title picture down the line.
Yeah, I understand. But to be honest, I think the tag title should be burnt. But anyway.
100%. I agree, bro. I agree. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that's a different discussion.
When I heard you hear the thing about you think 2 hours is perfect, but then we all agree that so many of these people aren't getting TV time, was like, well, if we cut everything down to 2 hours, the women are screwed, bro. Like, it's only ever going to be the top.
Okay, but then that's why your solution is a good thing.
That's why I think, but I don't think they're ever going to pull the plug on it. And I think if they did, the oh no, women bad community is going to be like, this is propaganda, this is an agenda, they're forcing it down.
Bro, listen, if you're going to do all women's pay-per-view and all that, then it makes it, people need to.
That's what I mean. I think wrestling fans are at a point now where they would get behind it. I definitely think we're at a point now where we get behind it.
If you're looking at WWE, like, I'm sorry, if you're the same fan that calls out how we're not getting good television, and then you complain about the whole women problem, and
I know, because it's going to give us bad television.
And then you're not happy with them having their own show to solve the problem.
That's what I mean. That's wrestling. That's 100%. That's the wrestling fans, bro. That's the international.
No, but this is why, by the way, if you were to ask football fans right now that watch wrestling, which fans are the worst, they'll tell you wrestling fans are worse. Trust me, and football's bad.
Yeah, I know, but they're
fucking
enough.
Wrestling fans are the biggest. IWC is the dumbest fucking place to be. I'm glad I don't even enter it on my Twitter. I started using Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not on Twitter.
I
see it all on Facebook, though. I see it all on Facebook.
No. I started using it because, like, I like trolling certain content creators on there or whatever, right? I'm telling you right now, I'm never entering IWC. It's fucking pathetic. Anyway,
it is bad. I agree.
Look, I've seen tweets from Instagram and it's fucking god awful. Anyway,
weak, pathetic, fragile men that get really upset and offended over stuff that's in a make-believe world.
You know when Dan Bryan's called like fans fickle back in the day?
Yeah, 100%. I love that. I love the.
Don't get it twisted. I wasn't a fan of the character, but you know, it's one of those characters that over time, when you actually understand how fans are,
the green one, you mean, like the green. The vegan Daniel Bryan, like with
the whole recycling champion, or so what was it called again? Cycling
was
champion. I
the,
forgot what it
it
was.
was something green. I thought it was green something like.
I forgot the
Um,
name. I need to.
But yeah, he had the legitimately, like, the title was legitimately recycled materials, and yeah, he was a vegan. He was doing it for the
I know he's a
people, and
vegan.
they
I know that
hated
was a
it.
good.
But I feel you. I know what you're talking about, bro. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
man.
Anyways, big ups, mate. You found someone to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll enjoy this weekend. We'll have a lot. We'll try and allocate a bit of time next week because we will have a lot to catch up on next week.
Yeah. The pay-per-view Raw and all this stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
we can have a lot.
We're
We can
to
have
be
a lot.
we're
Even
gonna have to
NXT, I'll throw him a little bit. NXT's starting to get watchable, bro. Like it's NXT's getting back
because
to
I
that.
haven't followed. I'm not gonna bullshit you, bro.
It's starting to get back to that point. Like it's making me want to watch it weekly again. It's getting back to like feeling like NXT Black and Gold.
When I saw
2019.
JCJ and whatever her name is win that, I'm like, fuck this shit.
It's a surprise. I still think she doesn't deserve it, but I think it's a surprise. And I don't think they're going to put it on Jordan too. I think they're going to bring Jordan straight up to the main roster.
No, I could see her because they need some top star.
That's why I think they put it on JC, just because she's been there for so long. She's an established name. But I know what you're saying, but I genuinely think they're going to bring.
Hey, to be
Jordan.
fair, I had the women's division, but we'll talk about that next time. Anyway,
Yeah,
guys.
No worries. All right, big ups, big out. I'll speak to you next time, mate. Have a good day. Have a good night.
Justin on our channel. Like, comment, do it. Go check socials and inshallah.
Fuck Bill Goldberg.
Yeah, fuck him. Wherever you guys
spaghetti.
Be. There, man says, okay, that's for you. Oh, shit. You know what? We leave it at that. See you.